welcome. This is our regular baking session, blind baking session with Penny Melville-Brown. I'm Zoe from Open Sight Hampshire. We're a sight loss charity that help visually impaired and blind children, young people and adults across Hampshire with lots of different activities, support and services. As most of you know that are on today, we do record these sessions, so if you'd rather not be on the video that will be shared on our social media platforms and websites, please turn your cameras off. Today with Penny, we are trying some crumble mixes with a twist, which sounds very good. I did actually make an apple crumble this weekend, and I put cinnamon in the crumble because I just love cinnamon. And it's going down fairly well. I made it Saturday and there's probably about a quarter of it left. It was massive. So yeah, I'm going to hand over to Penny and we can get started, and we'll talk about our next sessions once we've done this session. So welcome, Penny, and here we go.
Okay, good morning everyone, and I'm just going to get straight on with this because it is an embarrassingly simple recipe. In fact, I'm going to do two recipes today. I'm going to do the sweet version and the savoury version, but I'm going to start off with just the basics. I love this crumble mix because I keep bags of it ready to use in the freezer all the time. And so it's really flexible. So whenever I have something that I just want to cheer up and make into a bit more of a substantial meal, I can just throw some crumble on the top, whack it in the oven, and it's done. So I'm starting off here with porridge oats, just bog standard porridge oats. And I've got a 500-gram bag, and that's going straight into a big bowl. Now, if you haven't started yet, can I just advise you that it's really good to have a bowl of hot soapy water handy, because our hands will get grubby, so it's nice to be able to dip in and get them sorted out. I have a whole block of butter, that's 250 grams, and I'm just cutting it into chunks straight into the bowl with the porridge oats. Just tearing off the paper, give that a scrape, get every bit out of it, and that is that into the bowl. I'm using nuts that I have whizzed in the food processor. So I have some that are very small and powdery, and others that are nearly whole, because I'm looking for texture on this one. But ground almonds today is perfect. It'll give you the flavour. Okay. Give you the bulk.
I thought, oh, maybe I should have used pears, because pears and almond go very well together. But I
yes, they do.
Apples, so
okay. So here goes my nuts in. And now I'm simply going to use my hands. And you know how you rub in for pastry? So I'm just rubbing the nuts, the butter, and the oats together. Right. Now I'm doing this like in two separate batches in a minute. So I'm mixing these basic bits, and then I'm going to divide this in half and make a savoury version and a sweet version. So I'm just rubbing it. Do you know how to do it? Take a handful, rub your thumbs over your fingers, and it's just pushing it all together. And I've got some big lumps of butter in here. So this is a very therapeutic thing to do on, actually, I was going to say a wet, cold Monday morning, but actually the weather's improved a lot, hasn't it, today?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in the dungeons today in the office, so.
Oh, right. Right, how is your mixing going? I've still got some lumps of butter.
I still have, because I've got it from the fridge, so.
Yes, I got mine out. I actually got mine out last night, so it would just be warm, so I wouldn't be taking too long. But it's going in quite nicely.
I've cubed it, so it's a tiny bit faster still.
No, don't worry. You know, part of Cooking is enjoying it all, not going mad with it. Right, I am just going to stop there. And I'm just cleaning off my fingers. And I'm just going to talk you through the next bit. And I'm not washing my hands yet because I've got some more rubbing in to do in a second. So here I have some scales, and I'm making this crumble, the sweet version today, with honey. So in the bottom of my container, I have 125 grams of honey because I'm going to divide this mixture. So in here we put in 500 grams of oats, 250 of butter, 250 of the hazelnuts. So I reckon to make half of it, I'm looking for about that was a kilo. So looking about 500 grams to go in here. I'm just going to weigh it in on top of my honey, which of course juice.
Yeah, I've got brown sugar. Is that right as well?
That's no problem.
Yeah, I have soft brown sugar. Light brown sugar.
Yeah.
It'll be lovely.
Right. So do we put that in?
I'm just handing in handfuls of this. Right, get out, back in the main bowl.
Put the brown sugar in with all the oats and that now, yeah?
Say again, all above?
Do we put the brown sugar in with the oats?
If you're making just one sweet one, pop it in now and rub
and
it in.
Rub it in.
So now
Thank you.
I've got my half of this mix in with the honey. Now, the whole principle of this is that you have 2 parts oats, so 500 grams, or 250, and then 1 part butter, nuts, sugar, or honey. So now I have a honey mixture there. So that's going to do my sweet crumbles. So that, and because I'd let it in, got the honey out earlier, it's mixed in very well because it's all warm. So how are you all messy?
Yeah.
I confess I took my wedding ring off earlier, my watch, because I know how messy this could be. Right, I'm just going to rinse my hands. Okay,
Sugar,
I'm coming back to
butter,
the rest of my crumble mix here. And what I've got, if I can find it, it's on the work surface somewhere up here. And I've marked it with an elastic band around it so I wouldn't get muddled. Is I have got stuffing mix, which I got from my butcher. So this has got dried sage, onion, dried onion, probably some breadcrumbs. So I'm mixing that, not in with my honey, not in with my sugar, but with my original crumble mix. And I'm rubbing that through now to make a savoury crumble. And what I have in a bowl, and I'll show you in a second, is some par-cooked leeks, some par-cooked cauliflower, and some white sauce. And that is what I am going to pop with my savoury crumble. So I'm rubbing in this stuffing mix, and I can smell it. I'm getting it really nicely worked in with all the butter coating it, because that will help it work out. Now, I said I was doing vegetables in white sauce under a savoury stuffing. An alternative would be, supposing you'd had a roast chicken at the weekend and you'd got some chicken left over, some gravy left over, even some vegetables. Well, you could put all of those in a nice little oven-proof dish, top it with a savoury crumble, and then pop it in the oven. You've got a lovely hot meal with enough carbohydrate for your meal. So that makes it really simple.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, somewhere on this surface, I have.
Penny, could you put ham, peas, sweet corn and a cheese sauce?
Yes, very much so. You know,
That
what I'm
sounds
trying to
quite
say,
nice.
this is a really simple way
That's better.
of making a savoury dish. Now, if I had a sous chef here, sous chef, he would tell me, actually it's over here, I found it, I think. Yeah. So
Penny, can I ask what the oven temperature is we need?
I'm going to use that gas mark 4,
Oh, what's that?
180 degrees Celsius.
180 centigrade. Okay, thanks.
So on the work surface here, I have a little Pyrex dish in which I have the vegetables in their white sauce. And I am just gently putting a little bit of the savoury crumble on top. I'm not going mad, because if I get it too thick, it won't cook so well, and it will just overwhelm it all. But as I said, you could make all sorts of things in this savoury crumble. Okay, so that one is done. I'm going to wash my hands again, and I'm going to do the sweet crumbles.
I've never thought of using the sage mixture into a savoury. Well, I've never made a savoury crumble, let alone anything else.
No.
Brilliant
Yeah,
idea.
I have a recipe for vegetable crumble, but that has chestnuts in it. Those you usually get at Christmas time. That has that. It's quite nice.
Yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't use that too. You know, I'm making up what I put into my crumbles. You could do exactly the same. Okay, now actually here I have an enormous tray. You won't probably be able to see it, but I've got a big roasting tin, and there must be 12 crumbles in here, 12 fruit bases. So these are some ramekins I bought when we were in France a little while ago. And into those ramekins, which each one's going to be an individual portion, I've already got chopped up apple. Now this isn't Bramley apple. These are cooking apples, but these are Lord Grosvenor's and Lord Derby, because they're the ones from our garden. So now I've got the honey crumble, which is quite sticky. And I'm just putting on top of my
Put it on there. Yeah.
A little bit of crumble. I'm not going to go, again, not too thick. And you will find it's good to do this on a work surface where you can pick up the bits that drop off and put them back on. Okay, so I think that's a reasonable covering. And again, with both of these, you can freeze them. Just the raw mix as we've just made. So I would have plastic bags, and in fact, anything left over from today will go into a plastic bag. And I always mark my savoury crumble with a food clip on one of the corners, on an ear of the bag. And I always check which crumble I've got out of the freezer before I use it, because it would be nothing worse than putting savoury crumble on my apple. and can I tell you, there have been some very near misses.
You've done it.
Yeah. Now, at the moment, in my oven is preheated and it's on.
Yeah.
I have some vegetables that I'm roasting for another dish I'm making for tomorrow. And I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But because that's on the top shelf, that's going to give quite a lot of protection to whatever I put on the next shelf down. So I could just put these straight in, and they will take, because these are not very big, I would think that I would be looking at them at after 20 minutes, and possibly they won't need much more, because I haven't put a huge amount on the top. We're looking for colour and crispness, but we're not looking for dark brown. if you've got a great big dish of
Yeah.
crumble,
Yes, I have.
I have,
would be very
yes.
tempted to have some foil ready, and
Yes.
after 20 minutes, cover it with foil, because you will need time for the fruit underneath, or if you're making a savoury one, the vegetables underneath to cook, but not get more colour and darkness onto your crumble on the top.
My
Okay.
apples are pre-cooked because you mentioned in your email pre-cooked apples. So I'm cooking them in the microwave now. So they will
Okay.
be partially cooked anyway.
Mum
But I
cooked
have
lots.
a lot of crumble. There seems to be the mixture. There's a lot of it.
Freeze it.
Mm.
Don't
Mine's
use
gone
it
in.
straight.
How much
Penny,
should I
how
put?
long
Because-
for a large one?
I would say up to 40 minutes, but I would be covering it from 20 to 25. What I've got here are another 10. I've just put 2 of my crumbles in the oven. And while I'm chatting to you, I've got another 10 apple and mincemeat crumbles. I'm going to top those with crumble as we talk. Then I will cook them in a minute when the other ones come out. And I will then let them cool. I will cover them with cling film, and I will freeze them in these little ramekins. And then when we have them for lunch, they come out of the freezer, let them defrost in the fridge overnight, and then I will just whack them in the microwave and they're done.
Very good.
So I am cooking the apple now, and I'm sorry if I said cooked apple. That was my mistake on the recipe. I'm using raw apple in the bottom of these ramekins, topped up with this little bit of
Shall I
mincemeat.
take mine out then? I mean, it's only got
Yeah,
a couple
I
of
would,
minutes
I
left.
would.
I'll take it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Penny, I always partly cook my apples.
It depends on your apples. It depends what texture you want, all the rest of it. You know,
Only
you're
slightly, so
quite
they.
capable of cooking an apple, aren't you?
Mm.
You know how you want it. What I'm doing is I'm filling these very full. You know, they're actually domed over the top of the dishes. Because it's apple, it will collapse. But I've done this sort of crumble, and, you know, supposing I've got some fruit salad left over, either a baked fruit salad or a fresh fruit salad, want something a bit different, throw it into an oven-proof dish, take some crumble out of the freezer, top it off, throw it in the oven. I've got bottled apricots out in the studio. I might open a jar of apricots, get some crumble out of the freezer, top it off, throw it in the oven. You know, what we're looking at is this is a very flexible mix that you can use with all sorts of fruit. I've done it with damsons, pears, anything you like. But by having this bag of crumble in the freezer, you can make something different for yourself. If you make lots of them and you've got space in your freezer, you've got ready-made puddings that only need defrosting and microwaving. I tend to do a lot of batch cooking because I'm trying to be economic with my energy. So even as we're talking about this, in the oven, I'm not using it just for cooking these crumbles. I'm also roasting the vegetables for another meal I'm making tomorrow, where I need the vegetables roasted but cool before I finish the dish. So, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it
Am I
sounds
being
fascinating.
coherent?
I can't wait to have a go.
Yeah. The one thing I would say is just think about the proportions of your mix. So always you're looking at 2 parts oats, 1 part butter, nuts, sugar, whatever other flavouring you're doing. So how are you doing? Who's doing what where?
Well, they're in the ovens.
I'm about to assemble mine and put it in the oven in a minute.
What I'm just doing now is I've got another baking tray here, but actually it's a roasting tin, because for me, when I can't see, it's much easier to put all this lot in the oven in one fell swoop, so that I haven't got odd ones falling over or making a mess. So I've got a baking tray now full of apple and mincemeat crumbles. I've got 2 that are in the oven cooking at the moment. We're waiting for the penny Alexa timer to come up. And I've also got a savoury crumble with the leeks and cauliflower and white sauce. But you could do it, you know, what else do you have? So what else would you put into a savoury one? What do you think?
That was Hang On in There, Baby by John.
Like root vegetables and chickpeas.
Yes,
The cheese and ham
yes.
are there.
I think what you need is some moisture. So a cheese sauce, a white
Yeah.
sauce.
Not just put
gravy.
grated cheese.
Yes. But, you know, suddenly you've got something that's much more interesting than just tossing it into the microwave or something, haven't you? And of course, you can do a lot. You could do individual dishes for each person.
Mushrooms in sauce would be nice.
Yes. Delicious, delicious. And, you know, if you're really pressed, there's no reason why you couldn't use a tin of good soup as your liquid. So you could fry off your mushrooms, put in a little mushroom soup. Think about what else you might like in there.
Condensed soup would be good, wouldn't it?
Yes,
'Cause
exactly.
It would be
Yeah,
a sauce.
yes. And what you're remembering is that things, when they get hot, unless they're pre-cooked, they will collapse quite a bit. So that's why all my little apple crumbles here, the apple and mincemeat ones, are all very domed, because I know that they will come out, you know,
Oh, that's a good
the
tip.
layer of ramekin, well, because the apple will collapse. What I've got is one of these, you know, these bags that have got sort of pressed together tops. So I'm just going to load the rest of my savoury crumble into that. And this is a much drier mix than the one I've made with honey. And obviously the honey's pretty sticky. I do freeze the honey one, and that works very well. What I do with that one, I try and freeze it in the bag, but spread out in the bag, and then frozen flat, because then it's easier to break it up later on. So there's my bag. I'm going to seal the top, close it down. Close that zippiness. And then the most important thing, put a food clip on the corner so that you don't muddle it up with something else later on. Okay. On the sweet one, I've got such a tiny bit left. I'm not going to sacrifice one of those big bags at the moment. I'm going to put it in another honey crumble bag that I've got in the freezer.
Could you just show us the size of your individual dishes that you got in France?
Ramekins are...
Ramekin.
Yeah. So
Oh, they're not the little tiny ones.
No. These are, you know, adult size portions.
Yeah.
So they are probably pushing 3 inches across.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
And probably 1.5 inches deep. And if I was modern, I'd be able to tell you in metric, but I don't. So that's it.
Well, we aren't.
No, but that's it. That's a decent little pudding for a lunch. Yeah, you know, if you've had a first course, you don't need much more than that, really. I'm going to open up the oven again and put this big roasting tray with another 10 or 12 portions in there.
Mine smells lovely in here.
Oh, no, I'm hungry.
It does.
Penny, I had to save some mixture because I felt I did exactly the quantity you said. I felt it was too much for the cooked apples. It's quite thick anyway, the topping. So I've saved some. I'll try it with pears.
Yeah, put it in the freezer. Use it
In the
next
freezer,
time.
okay.
Yeah, just literally toss it in a bag.
Yeah.
Put it in the freezer. Get it out 5-10 minutes before you want to use it. Give it a bash right on top. And if you think you've got too much on your apple, take some off. You know, think about what proportions you want to serve. Is this, you know, a topping or a main meal?
Oh,
You decide.
mine smells it's burning.
Penny, with the savoury crumble, what would you serve along with it, or would you serve it on its own?
I might serve it with some fresh vegetables. I wouldn't serve it with potato. No, I think you've got enough carbohydrate there.
Oh,
So
mine's done. It's all very crispy on the top.
is that good?
I hope so. Don't know.
How is the fruit underneath?
Should I put some tinfoil over the top of it now then, in case?
Well, can I,
Your
Yeah.
penny crumble timer is up.
Alexa, stop. I think I would
Yeah.
just put a knife in and have a
Alexa,
flick
stop.
Okay. Yeah.
because it may just be done. Depends how big your dish is.
It's not. It's a tin, but it's not that big. It's thin portion. Yeah, the knife's clean, so it must be done.
Yeah, can you feel the apple being crunchy?
Hang on. Soft underneath. So.
Yeah, you're done, aren't you?
I think so, yeah, because I say the knife's not wet at all, and that's
Yeah,
how
you
I
see,
do
mine was soft to start with because I
Yeah.
pre-cooked it. So how would
Yeah.
I know when mine is
All
done?
my apples were cooked last night and just taken out the fridge this morning
Okay,
because I had to go out. That's why I
So
thought.
basically, it's just the crumble that needs doing in my case.
Yeah, and mine. So
Yeah.
it feels-
Yeah.
Can I just
Yes.
get you, if you put your knife in, pull it
Yeah.
out again, just feel
Yeah.
the end of the knife. Is it hot?
Oh, hang on, then I'll do it again for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know it was dry. That's one thing. So I know. A minute. Oh God, where's it gone? Right. Yes. Yeah, it's dry. So it's done,
Done.
isn't it? Yeah, it's done. As I
Absolutely.
said, it's very,
I'm just
it's
gonna
very
take mine
crispy on the
out.
top.
Because my time has just gone.
Oh, it tastes nice. The crispy. I pinched a bit of crumble on this.
Why not, eh?
Oh, it's lovely. Oh,
Yum.
yeah, I like
Save
that.
some for Gary.
Okay.
I don't know about that. Might do. Not you, Gary.
Yeah, you're
my
Gary, Sherry, not the Gary.
Yeah, not the Gary.
Sorry,
Oh,
Gary, you've made your own.
But what
Yeah.
I'll do now is turn it off and put the tinfoil on the top and leave it in the oven, and then that way.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
So do you think mine would be done in 25 minutes? I'll put it on for 25 minutes. So it's just basically the crumble that needs doing.
Yep.
obviously, yeah. Oh, we cheated today.
A fingertip full off
Yeah.
the top of my crumble.
It's lovely, isn't it?
And it's crispy and it's done.
Yeah,
How was that for easy then?
very easy. That was good.
Fantastic. I love the
Lovely.
idea of
Emphasize
savoury.
enough how useful it is to have this crumble in the freezer.
Oh,
You know, just a bag of it so that you can cheer up any old fruit that you've got.
that's it. Right then.
Our next session will be on the 13th of February on a Monday, second Monday of the month.
Mhm.
And we will once this video has been edited, we will send it out to you guys that have
Yes.
registered to come along, so you can rewatch it and try to Penny's recipe again. And I'll also include the link for the next event, for the next session for February. Yeah, thank you ever so much, Penny, for joining us and sharing this brilliant idea of crumble. I definitely, as I say, I definitely love the idea of that savoury crumble with the sage mixture. It's just like, it's simple, but you just don't think about it unless someone suggests it to you, you know, someone that's a baker. We will obviously share that Eventbrite link. If you have problems registering on the Eventbrite, let us know and we can register you on there for you. And there has been a question that's come up a few times with some of you with the recipes that we send out that Penny has given us, when you register on Eventbrite, it does come with the confirmation email that you get once you're registered. It's normally at the bottom of
Right at the bottom. Yes.
We
Yeah.
can't put it up any higher, as far as I know, because Eventbrite has its own template email,
Yeah.
and we just add the bit that we want on there. So we don't mind resending the ingredients out to you, but if you could just look down the bottom of your email just to check, because it is set automatically each baking session that you do get the recipe when you've registered with your confirmation email. So yeah, so we're in February, guys, next month. That's unbelievable. And we started these baking sessions back in February 2021, I believe. So, you know, it's amazing that we're still going and still enjoying these delicious recipes and ideas that Penny shares with us. So thank you, Penny. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Penny.
Thank you, Penny. Yes. Bye.
Another great baking exclusive session with Penny Melville-Brown, hosted by Open Sight Hampshire.
When I started this today, I had a clean apron.
It looks clear to us,
Penny.
Our baking sessions take place every second Monday of the month via Zoom. Our baking sessions are for anyone who is visually impaired or blind who would like to come along and learn new ideas and share their tips and interact with other visually impaired people.
Oh wow, that's massive!
It's like a massive cookie.
No, if I put it, you can't see my head.
To find out more about our regular baking sessions, please contact Open Sight Hampshire on 02380 641 244 or email info@opensight.org.uk. You can also register on our Eventbrite page, and please don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms.